Hey guys, so today's video I'm going to talk about how you can get a fully funded scholarship in the United States with a third class, a low GPA or an HND certificate. Alright, yes, there is a lot of debate going on, but I want to tell you that if you have a low GPA, it doesn't mean that you cannot go to grad school. You can go to grad school, but like I said, but there are things you need to know and things you must implement in case you have a low GPA. Please understand the term low GPA or HND. Now, we all know that HND somehow is 4 years. I think in some countries like Nigeria is 4 years. But most US universities, when they are evaluating admissions or admissions documents or files, they don't really understand what the HND document is or the certificate is. So there are various things I want you to know that you must do, all right, in case you have a third class, a low GPA or HND certificate, all right. The very first one is credential evaluation. Before I come back to the credential evaluation, there is something I will mention somewhere along this video that you must put in your SOP. You must put it in your SOP. Please listen to me. If you want to get admissions to grad school and funding, you must put this thing that I'm saying, all right, in your SOP. I will mention that very soon. So, credential evaluation is when you take your transcript or your HND certificate to an external body, the most common one being WES, WES, all right. You take their transcript. What you basically do is you go to your university, tell them to give you an original copy of your transcript, then you send to West. Sometimes it is West that will request you as a university to send to them. Then you do the payment, they evaluate your transcript, most of the times the course by course evaluation. And when they evaluate your transcript, there are things that are going to happen. The first thing that is going to happen is it is going to take your transcript from, let me say, the method of HND and bring it now to a way in which bachelor's degree transcripts or US systems of transcripts are being done. All right. This way, it is going to make the reading or the admissions committee to understand now what you got in your bachelor's level or your HND. Again, when evaluated or when the transcript has been evaluated, it now pushes your CGPA. Probably it was low before, but now your CGPA is going to be higher. All right, your cumulative grade point average, that's what I mean, is going to increase a little bit. Sometimes you may have 3.0 on 4, and after evaluation, you realize that your transcript is showing 3.2 on 4. You understand? That is what you need if you have a low GPA or you have an HND, if you must get admissions and of course funding in grad school. The third thing you must do is, or the second thing you should understand is, if you have a low GPA, you shouldn't bother. What grad school looks most today, all right, what I mean here is grad school doesn't focus more on transcript CGPA. They try to look at what you can bring into the university. They try to look at your experiences. So if you have a low CGPA, let's assume that during your first year, you performed very poorly, and during your third and fourth year or your last or final years, you perform well. They are going to just go to that level because sometimes they calculate based on 60 credits. You understand? They are just going to go to the last level. They know all these things. All right, they will go to the last level and check it. If your grades were good, then they will just do the calculations from there. Sometimes they may take your calculation for your last 2 years, and it gives them a 3 GPA on 4. All right. Meanwhile, your overall GPA is giving maybe like 2.8. You understand? So they usually do that. So you don't need to panic. All right. You don't need to panic. Now, another thing you should know if you must get a fully funded scholarship, or how you should do or get a fully funded scholarship in the USA or in grad school, all right, using your third class or HND certificate is, sometimes if you do your coursework, for example, I have not published a paper before, but most of you have done that. If you do your undergraduate, how do they call it, project, you can then talk with your advisor or your supervisor that you want to publish this paper, all right? The paper is going to be arranged and published. You understand? Sometimes when you want to do the publication, they don't really consider the impact factor of that particular paper, all right? They just look at certain things. But again, you have to coin the research to look good in order to be published, but attention is not put into that much. Discuss with your professor or your supervisor and it will be done. When you publish a paper, it gives you an added edge or advantage over a candidate who hasn't done that. But I'm not saying that only this factor will give you an admissions and fully funded scholarship in USA. No, that's not what I'm saying. There are a lot of factors. All right. Now, another thing that you need to do if you have a very low GPA and you want to get admissions and of course funding in grad school is your work experience. Sometimes, let's say if you graduate with biochemistry at BSc and your GPA is low and you really want to go to grad school, look for some laboratories that are doing some things related to maybe your field of studies. If you did something related to animal science or maybe microbiology, you can look for a laboratory, all right? Apply there, start working in that laboratory, and maybe you are getting paid or it's on internship. It doesn't matter. All you should prove is that you have working experience, all right? This is going to give you an edge over somebody who doesn't have this type of experiences. I hope you understand. So internship qualifications and let me say internship experience and working experience is very important when you have a low GPA. Remember, your GPA is low, so you are looking for possible ways to go into grad school. Sometimes during the application process, you may not want to start an internship because of time constraint, but there are other things you can do, like the credential evaluation. You can do that, all right? Then now the other thing you need to do again is to work on your CV. Your CV in this case, remember grad school need academic CV. Your CV is not just any type of CV. You don't just like publish the CV you have been using throughout. No. Put things that are related to teaching, things that are related to research if you have done them. If you have working experiences, of course, add them to your CV. If you are teaching a group of people, add them to your CV. If you have experience in research, add them to your CV. If you are doing anything to impact the community, add them to your CV, all right? These are the things that grad school need because they need people that will be able to withstand the pressure in grad school. I'm not saying that there is a lot of pressure in grad school, no. But they need people who are willing to work, all right? Because they don't want to put their money on you and you come there and you're sleeping. No, you must be able to prove your worth to grad school. Add those things to your CV. Talk more about your research. Talk more about the things you have done, all right? Voluntary activities, internship experience, working experience. Put them. People, if you teach a group of people, put them. If you have been a teacher before, add it to your transcript. It's going to help a lot, all right? This is the type of transcript called academic transcript. You can check samples on Google if you really want to apply to grad school, all right? It's going to help you. That's something you should do, all right? Then another thing you should do is to get the GRE done. GRE is the Graduate Records Examination. This exam, I don't know how much it costs now in Africa. It depends the country you are. I think in Cameroon, it should be around $310. I'm not very certain, all right? So you can check. They have a particular website you can register to. So check GRE, try to write the exam. If you think that there is no time for you to take GRE, because I understand GRE is somehow cumbersome and maybe a little difficult, yes, compared to some other exams like the IELTS or TOEFL. You can go for the TOEFL or you can go for the IELTS, all right? There is a lady I know that won several scholarships with HND, with TOEFL, but she had a lot of experiences, all right? So these are things, you don't just lie on top of your documents that you have experiences, because the admissions committee, they have a way they are going to get you, all right? Trust me, these are experts. If you lie to a certain degree, they know where they are going to fish you out. You understand? Like I said, these are experts. So say something that you have done, all right? And remember, again, natural selection plays a greater part when it comes to things like this, because you don't just apply to school, apply and pray as well, all right? Let God guide you. So put things that you have done. If you lie, they are going to know, because these are experts. They have been dealing with stuff like this for over years, all right? Over years. So say things like that. Then write the GRE. Like I said, if you think it's going to be cumbersome in terms of preparation, then you can look into the TOEFL or the IELTS, and if the TOEFL is a little easier for you, then go for it. It's still going to help you a lot. Remember, a lot of international students let me say, don't have money to take this exam. Some don't want to write it at all. You understand? Some are scared to write because they know they are not going to score good grades. So grad school is not for the cheap hearts. If you are not strong enough, Go and chase it, all right? Go and chase it. That is what you need to do. Don't look at what other people are doing. Don't say, my friend has a very good GPA, she's applying, I cannot apply. No, the fact that your friend has a very good GPA, there are a lot of other things like these exams I'm talking about, your CV, your SOP recommendations. SOP, very important. What I was talking about that I want to mention in this video that you shouldn't fail to put into your SOP, all right, is one paragraph talking about your statement, all right, or talking about the things you want to do in that particular university, or the things you want to do that is available in that particular faculty or department, all right. What is happening in that department is what you should be talking about that you want to do in that particular department. This now brings us to the part where you must go through the department website, see the professors and see what their research interest is. Look at what they have been doing, look at what they are currently doing, all right? Then you pick one of them and you talk about what they are doing and you explain to them why you have interest in them and that you have interest in them. In that way, for example, if you are doing something with respect to chemistry and you go to a department of a particular university, let's assume that you want to do organic chemistry with focus in maybe some nano stuff, all right? I'm not a chemistry student, I'm a geologist, so an environmentalist, so I know more about that. Let's assume you want to do things related to organic chemistry, and you go to that particular university, they have chemistry, but they are not doing organic chemistry. All you see Professor A and B and C they are doing is related to physical chemistry or general chemistry. Then that is not a university for you because they don't have what you are looking for. I hope you understand. In this way, if you apply to this school and you are talking about organic chemistry, whereas they are doing physical chemistry, there is no way you can get admissions. You understand? You have to look for a school that have specialty or that have research interest that aligns with what you are doing. You understand? You mentioned that. Again, let me say this here. You must contact supervisors. Some schools will say contact supervisors. Yeah, but others will not tell you. Some don't even want you to contact them before you apply. In this case, drop your application and make sure you go through the website. That is another thing that is going to give you an offer if you have a low GPA. Please don't forget that. Now let's continue. A strong SOP. Another point you should put into consideration, a very strong statement of purpose. This is very important because if you don't put a very strong statement of purpose, there is no way you can get the admissions, and not to talk of the funding, all right? Like I said, funding is given to the faint heart, or let me say the strong hearts, people with a vibrant heart who are willing to work. Grad school is not something you just wake up maybe 1 month and you drop applications here and there and you expect to get admissions. You can get a 3.5 on 4. You can get a 5.5 on 6. It depends because some countries, they have their grading system. Some schools, they have their grading system. For example, in Nigeria, all right, there are schools that have it on 4, some on 5, like I know. But in Cameroon, we have it just on 4, except you are doing HND. So if you have a higher GPA and you don't work and you check details, you will not go into grad school. So a strong SOP is very important. Now, recommendation letters. Something I found out is, I'm not an expert by the way, but my experience with international stuff and study abroad opportunities is, I think your curriculum, your recommendation letters doesn't really play the part that your SOP is going to play. But however, make sure your recommenders know you personally so they can write good things about you, all right? Because a very poor drafted statement, let me say recommendation letter, is a no-go for the grad school, all right? So make sure your recommendations know you. Your recommenders know you and they are willing to write good things about you. Getting a good professor, a lecturer, or sometimes they will state that get a professor from your university or a lecturer and get one from your working place. That way is cool, but let them know you to write good things about you, all right? Then go to a course that is less competitive and a university that is less competitive. You cannot have a low GPA and you want to go to Harvard. Impossible mission. Impossible, all right? I'm not saying that you cannot get admitted, but please think, at least think, because Harvard is a top school, all right? You have to avoid top schools like that, all right, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. You have to avoid such schools like that and go to places that you know that fits your level. All right, I'm not saying that you should limit your chances, but at least use your brain if you must go into grad school. All right, then again, apply early. This is something I don't want to overemphasize on. Anything early will bring results. If you do anything early, if you go to your farm early, if you go to school early, you go to the bank early, you go to your internships early, at the end of the day, results must come. So apply to schools early. Now, some schools will say that we are closing our doors for the first segment on December 1st. Others will say December 30th, others will say January 1st. Make sure if you are applying, as soon as they say the doors are closed from December 1st for the first segment to be considered for funding, try to put in your application quickly, because some of these schools, they just, as soon as you submit, they will start evaluating. Others will wait until other students come in or the deadline, but some schools will start evaluating. So put in more applications is another point. Put in more applications and apply early. I hope this is going to help somebody, because these are some of the things that some people will wait till maybe they enjoy their Christmas, they eat all their money, they eat their good food, then their brains will not come together and they will be like, oh, I want to go to the United States. No, you cannot just start like that. And before you start January, February, March, a lot of students had already applied. Before you are even applying, some have gotten their admissions offers already with funding. So these are things you need to know and put them together. This is already a few days to November. Try to drop your application before the end of November, all right? Try to drop before the end of November. I hope this is going to help somebody. Please, I didn't mention that you subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel so that we build a platform. Thank you so much. Till we meet again in another one.